How's it going, guys? It's Miles, aka BASE45 from NachoCheeseTV. And today what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to use 2 to 1 can, I guess, or you have to have 2 basically, cans to make multiple shades of a certain color. So basically, if the only cans I have are black and a white, then I'll show you how to use black and white and make as many shades of gray you need in between. It's really simple, it's really easy. I actually used to use it a lot, and it's also very useful for when you're trying to make like a multi-layered stencil of a painting that is going to be in color and you don't have all the colors. So say you're going to do the painting in a scale, like normally I do it in grayscale, but say you're going to do it in like a blue scale. So as long as you have a light blue and a dark blue, then you can do it. You can arrange as many blues as you want in between those 2 shades. So let's get started. Okay guys, so here's pretty much my goal. I want to give it like a coffee look to this stencil that I'm about to spray. And I could do this with just 2 colors, like a brown to a cream. That's what ideally I would use. But I don't really have a cream. I have a white, which is a little too light, but I have a color that will go in between the 2 that'll help get me that cream effect. So the 3 colors I'm going to use are going to be this darker brown right here. Let's see. Right here. It's like a lighter brown. It's called nutmeg. And then white. So here's my color range pretty much. I'm not going to fully use white, so it's going to be more of just a creamier color, because when the white is misted over this nutmeg, it'll look more cream. It's never going to get pure white because I'm not going to spray it that hard. Do this effect with pretty much any colors, as long as you have a light version of the color and a dark version of the color. Like if I wanted to do a blue scale, I could do a blue scale between just like a dark blue and then a lighter blue. And then if I wanted to, a white. So you can do it with 3 colors. You only really need 2. You'll pretty much, once you learn how to do this technique, you'll learn on your own how to apply it with different colors and different stuff like that. It's all pretty much the same concept. You just use different colors. I mean, just experiment with it. That's what I did. I experimented a lot, and you can achieve a lot of different color ranges and different spectrums if, or not spectrum, scales. Different scales by using this technique. So let's get into it. Alright, so I'm about to spray the first layer. Alright, so now I have this first layer on here. I'm going to want to, I have my my darkest brown, but I'm not going to want to spray that all the way yet, like a full coat, because I want it to blend in with the black background more. So the first layer, what I'm going to do is I'm going to mist the brown in, and what that'll do is it'll make a halfway shade, pretty much, an in-between shade between the black background and then the first layer. You're trying to keep it like as consistent of a scale as you can, meaning that there's not just a huge gap like full black to super bright color. You don't want to do like black to like a bright orange and then like a brighter like yellow and then a white. Like say it's a 4 layer. You want to go like black, and then you want to do dark color, medium color, light color, white. See? So that's kind of how you want to do your scale. So I'm going to gradually through the layers, I'm going to make it lighter and lighter. So to make this brown lighter, or I mean darker, you just missed it. There we have a nice dark brown that I'm going to throw a more thicker layer of that same color over it, and you'll see how it makes that different shade. You'll see. Alright, here is the second layer. As you remember, I misted this first layer, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do like a more solid spray, a thicker coat of the same color, and it'll actually give a different shade than if you just mist it on. When you mist it on, it actually mixes the tone of the color that you're spraying with the the tone that's underneath. So it mixed pretty much this brown with the black. It made a darker brown. So as you can see, I made some bridges right here, and I'm actually planning, what I do with these bridges is I make the bridge just any shape I want, and then I spray my adhesive on the stencil, put it on here, and then I cut the bridges out actually. So these are freestanding. Actually, I don't need the eyeballs. I realized that when I was cutting them, because my island layer is gonna pretty much contain the eyeballs, so I don't need the eyeballs. So I'm gonna just cut them out completely. Now I'm gonna use that same that same brown that I just sprayed earlier, and I'm gonna spray like pretty much. I'm just gonna mist it again, kinda. What is gonna double up the thickness of the layers or of the mistedness, and pretty much equal out to one completely full coat. So I'm pretty much just gonna fill out this coat, and you'll see it makes a different shade. As you can see, it makes two different shades. Because what I did with the first one is I misted it, and now you understand how misting it pretty much combines this color, the brown, with this color, the black. So it makes an in-between color. So now you guys understand that. I'm gonna go a little bit faster through the rest of this because you already understand it. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use the next color now. I'm gonna mist this this nutmeg color, which is actually lighter than this, and I'm gonna make an in-between color, pretty much. So mist it, make an in-between of this brown and this nutmeg, and then after I make that misted in-between coat, then I'm gonna spray a full coat of this. Alright, here we go. I'm about to mist on my medium color now, that lighter brown. Okay, cut these little bridges out. And remember, if you guys are gonna do this whole thing where you make the bridge and then you cut it out once it's on the canvas, you can only spray the stencil once. Because what's gonna happen is if you ever want to spray it again, you lost your islands right here. They're gonna be completely gone because you cut them out. So just keep that in mind. You can't respray this at all. So you kind of have to hope for the best. Okay, so here we go. Now I have my my medium shade, the nutmeg, and I'm gonna mist it so I make an in-between color between this and the brown. Okay, so now you can see it's starting to look really nice. Like it has a perfect gradient, pretty much. Like it just each color eases into the next color like perfectly. If it was too light, it would really be obvious and be like, wow, that color is way lighter than the color before it. So, nice scale going on right now. Hopefully I can keep it up. So, let's see how I can do. When you mist a layer, like I just did with my medium shade, it dries almost instantly because it's just misted on there. There's not that much paint on there. It's not that wet. So, the moisture can evaporate super quick and it dries really fast. So, if you ever mist a layer, you can pretty much get your next layer ready, and by the time you have your next layer ready, spray adhesive, you ever can shaken up, it's going to be dry as you'll ever need it. So, let's go. And this is going to be a full coat of my medium shade. So if you notice, it's kind of a pattern. It's like a misted coat, then a full coat, then the misted coat, full coat. And that's only if you're switching between colors that already have a gradient to them, like a light, medium, and dark shade. Because you can always do this with just two cans. Like, what I would recommend if you're starting off is to have two cans, a black can and a white can, and then spray your first shade or your first layer in black or your background in black, and then everything else just mist it white over it. And then that's a good way to practice, and it's really cheap. and you have some pretty nice looking results. I did that a lot too. So here we go. I'm about to do a full coat of my medium shade. Okay, so here you can really see the different layers, or different shades in the layers. You can see how I did it. You can tell how this one's a misted layer, and so is this one right here, and how it's this is in between black and this, and then this is in between this and that. And now I'm gonna put the white on. For the white, you have to be, white is really unforgiving. You have to put just a little bit, just a little bit, because if you put too much, it'll like overexpose the highlights, and then it'll make it look really weird. So just be careful with it. Okay, so let's get this white on here. Now you guys are probably saying you didn't spray any white on there at all, but if you lift it up, you'll actually see there's definitely plenty of white on there. And that was just barely misting it. Like, you're really gonna have to experiment with that one on your own, because I couldn't even tell you how to do it, because you'll think, okay, that's not that much because I don't see any white through the stencil at all. And you pull it up and you're like, what the fuck? Because white is just, I don't know. It's a different kind of animal. So there you go. Lightly spray the white. Got the white on there. Now I gotta do my island layers, just so I can get the blacks back in their eyes and everything like that. So let me just spray that island layer real quick, and then I'll just talk briefly about the whole process. Alright guys, so I was thinking about like the best way I can explain this process. And everyone knows that if you mix black and you mix white, you get gray. Like even like your elementary school art classes, they always teach you that. When you mix white and mix black, you get gray. But what they don't tell you is how much white and how much black equals how much gray. Or how, like, pretty much parts. So 1 part black and 1 part white will equal a 50% gray. Meaning half is white, half is black. If you add more white, you'll have a lighter gray. If you add more black, you'll have a darker gray. So pretty much how that applies to this is, it's the same thing with colors. There's like, you can have light brown, you can have dark brown. All it is a brown with more or less black or white in it, pretty much. So what you're doing to get this effect, or to get multiple shades out of one color, is you're just adding more black, or you're adding more white to it. As you can see, this isn't really white, it's more of a creamy-ish tan color. And how I did that is by adding a little bit of white to this pre-existing tannish beige color, and that produced like a cream. And pretty much to make this dark brown, I added a little bit of black. I added black to this color right here, which is this brown, and it made a dark brown, because it's black and brown mixed together. Dark brown, white and cream mixed together white and beige makes this cream color when they're mixed together. So if you think about it like that, it makes a lot more sense. Like I said earlier, if you're on a tight budget, you can really only afford like the minimum supplies. What I would recommend getting as far as paint is only a can of black. That's the black that I use. It's really good. It's very flat. And a can of white. And what you do is your first layer, which is usually a silhouette. I don't know why. I'm really sorry, guys. But like almost all the paintings I've been doing lately have been where it's like the first layer is the background, the darkest layer, black. Because as you can see, there is no silhouette around these people. And there's no silhouette around the guns that I paint either. They're just blended in with the background. So normally, the most common, you'll see the black silhouette will be the first layer. And with that first layer, you just pretty much mist white over it, just a little bit at a time, and what it will do is produce shades of gray. Because once you mist it lightly one time, or the first time you mist it lightly over it, it'll be solid white. So you'll get an entire scale from black to white and all the shades of gray in between without actually having to have each shade of gray in that paint. So hopefully you guys can understand that. You guys should know by now I'm pretty much terrible at explaining things, but I do the best I can. If you're more of a visual learner, then I mean you can just see like from what I'm doing how I do it. But if you're not really like that, you like to hear it or whatever, then I apologize because I'm just terrible at it. I might do like another series of tutorials that are more focused, and those will be more planned out, and I'll think before I say stuff, because I do not do that at all right now, and I usually just end up sounding really stupid. So here's a final product, this is how you do it, and yeah, hopefully you guys can apply this to your paintings. And like I said, you can use this with a whole range of different colors, and you can get tons of different scales with it. And so I'll link a few different videos in the description of this video right here, and those will be just paintings that I have filmed on my channel that I use this technique on, so you guys can get a feel for like the different applications I've used it for. So see you guys later, hopefully this helped, and tune in next time. Later.
Better find out before your time's out. What the fuck?
If I rule the world,
Imagine that.
I free all